Departing Edinburgh Gateway. This train is for...
Arriving early morning at Edinburgh Gateway. This is a big moment for the channel. Though this video was actually the second video I had ever filmed, I wanted to wait a while before uploading it until I got a bit better with the editing. That was mainly just so this video could be a bit more entertaining. As being the second video I ever filmed, I was a little, well, lacking in confidence filming myself in public. Today we are doing something very special. We are taking the first flight abroad on this channel. And actually this was very special for me too, as this was my first time abroad after 2 years of COVID. So here we are at Edinburgh Airport to see if Ryanair is actually good, considering I'm spending £10 on this price, which you can probably tell from the title of the video that, yeah, £10 for a return fare, not a lot of money. At this point I wasn't off to a great start, as my camera died and my other camera was set to an overexposed shutter speed. Anyway, we're not going to let that stop us. As I was saying, we got this fare on Ryanair for £10, well, £9.98 really. £4.99 each way from Edinburgh Airport to Brussels South Charleroi Airport. At the time of filming this, Scotland had just come out of a lockdown and heavy COVID restrictions were still in place. Passing through security, we only had 30 minutes to wait for our flight. So as I mentioned, there are a few extras that we got on the flight. Well, as I mentioned before, my camera died. So I'm not sure if it picked it all up. But there are a few extras that we've ordered for the flight. And that brings the price of the flight up to about £37 for a return trip, so that's not actually bad. The reason I've done the extras is I want to see if Ryanair can, with extras added on, can be better than paying twice the price to go to an equivalent destination. So let's see how we do with that. The total price with extras came to a total of £37 return. And I wanted to see if this would be good value, or if the stereotypical budget airline issues would crop up. Soon enough we were called for boarding.
Alright, scan here. Yep. Scan here for me. Alright. Cheers.
Airlines like Ryanair usually have a short, roughly 45-minute turnaround for their aircraft, so boarding was done in quite a speedy manner. Being a light traveller, I decided to forego the costs of an extra cabin bag and stuck to the free baggage allowance.
Please move along the cabin end. Cabin baggage, there underneath the seat in front row, overhead 17. We would just like to remind all passengers that it's compulsory to wear a face covering for the full duration of your flight today.
Today the flight was around 50 to 60% full by my estimates. Leg room on Ryanair's 737-800 is fine. Not great, but plenty enough for the type of flights they operate. Pushing back from the stands, the flight time today should be around 1 hour and 40 minutes. Taking off out of Edinburgh today, the weather is just glorious, allowing us some great views of Lothian and the southern uplands. About 10 minutes after takeoff, the crew came around with the usual catering service. Having pre-ordered the meal deal, the crew came and took all the pre-order preferences first. I went for an old breakfast favourite of mine, a hot ham and cheese croissant, with a Kit Kat and a coffee. It was nice enough, and I have no real complaints. At this time in the morning, it went down well.
With breakfast demolished, we were heading over London and heading out over the English Channel. I decided to get a quick nap as we began our descent into Charleroi Airport. Charleroi is mainly used by budget airlines to offer services to Brussels. After a lengthy wait in border control, we are in Belgium. It is now that I should say that if you're on your way to Brussels, it is a 45-minute bus ride from Charleroi Airport.
There you go.
Perfect, thank
Have
you.
a good evening, huh? And a good stay with us. on the
Yes,
coast
thank
and
you.
stuff.
Yeah, I'm only here for 24 hours, so
Yeah, okay. Ah, yeah.
so it's cannonball run. Yeah, perfect, thank you.
So we have just checked into one motel in Brussels. Seems nice enough hotel, just a bed, somewhere to sleep. The flight though, and that's the whole reason for this video. Was it worth it? In total I paid £37, and that's for a return flight, which I've got tomorrow. So really it's about £17–18 one way, give or take. So yeah, do you think it's worth that kind of money compared to likes of EasyJet, who would charge £30 for their flat rate fare? Maybe not even that much, maybe they'd charge like 25 or something like that. But then you've got like Brussels Airlines that would charge you at least £80. Same with KLM and British Airways and all the legacy carriers. So is it worth it just to get where you want to go? If you want the no frills, just get where you want to go. What do you think? Let's see tomorrow on the flight home and see how we get on with that. That'll be the test. If it can have 2 good flights in a row, then yeah, I'll give it that. But if one flight's good and then another flight has a lot of issues, then, well, it's a stereotypical budget airline stereotype raising its head. So yeah, we'll see about that. Anyway, I'm going to explore around Brussels for the 4 hours that I've got here, and you'll be able to check out that video here. Anyway, with the power of editing, now we switch to tomorrow morning. And here we are, back at the airport. Now we're going to see what the return flight is like. As you saw in the first part, we had breakfast booked and a seat booked as our add-ons. This time we're going to have the seat, but with dinner this time, to see if the food is any good for dinner. Because that's sometimes the worst bit, because it is easy to do breakfast, but sometimes it's much harder to do the dinner part. So we'll see how it is, and bear in mind this flight was only £37 return, so £18–19 each way.
Heading into Charleroi, we go through a security checkpoint, and so, as it happens, this second flight would come with some inconvenience.
It does seem that they're doing a lot of renovation work at this airport. I'm not sure exactly what that's for. It looks like it could be like bus bays or parking or something like that. Maybe get something to eat. We'll see. We have got dinner booked on the plane though, so maybe we won't need it.
Heading into security, as it happened, this is where we'd be held up for a long time.
Okay, so that's a new experience for me. That's the first time I've ever been stopped for a drugs check. I think it was probably my mistake. I put my bag down outside the airport to change cameras, and what I did was I put it down in a lot of construction dust. So yeah, it's coating me and the bag, and obviously the machine's detecting that as a form of powder, and yeah, got stopped. Probably going to get stopped on the other end as well, but these things happen. You can't really help it. It's good to know that they're actually taking security seriously. Yeah, both an inconvenience, but still at the same time reassuring. So we've got some time to kill, so let's go and maybe try and find something to eat.
In the end though, I decided to gamble to see if the onboard food would be enough, and not get anything to eat at the airport. This gamble though proved to be the start of my second big inconvenience of the day.
Your attention, please. We will now board. Last passengers.
I did notice this guy on a Segway on the apron. After watching for a while, I noticed that he must have been the guy in charge. I'm really not sure, but if my boss was skirting around on a Segway and swaying back and forth in front of me, I'm not sure I'd be able to take him seriously, but maybe that's just me. As you can see, Charleroi is very much dominated by Ryanair. As it turns out, our flight would be delayed for another 1 hour 45 minutes.
So it looks like the flight is delayed. Not looking good for it, but we shall see. It's been delayed an hour, so just got to hang about the airport a bit longer.
After a lengthy wait, our aircraft arrived from Madrid, and we could start boarding.
It would be mandatory to wear a face mask for carbon negatives on board, but you can download yours, scanning the QR code on your boarding pass on the safety card on the seat in front of you. Thank you for understanding and cooperation, and once again, you're on board.
Cheers. No worries.
Before departure, I ask you 2 minutes of your full complete attention. Thank you.
The exits are located for emergency evacuation or by pulling the loose end. To open the seatbelt, lift the buckle cover.
Despite the delay, in the end I would be thankful for it. As for our 1 hour 40-minute flight to Edinburgh, we would be flying with a beautiful sunset and amazing light all the way up to Edinburgh. After takeoff, the crew came around and took the pre-order preferences. I went for the Thai green curry and a pack of Pringles with a coffee. The Thai green curry was much nicer than it looked, and surprisingly for a budget airline, the meal had a bit of kick to it. Being a huge fan of spicy food, this was a thumbs up from me. After I finished my meal and my coffee, it was near time for us to begin our descent. This was honestly one of the most beautiful approaches into Edinburgh that I have ever seen. The sunset and the paper-thin cloud cover made for some amazing views, so I'll let you just enjoy. Arriving into Edinburgh, I was now in a rush to catch my train home due to the delay. For this flight return, I paid a total of £37, £20 for the meal deals, £4.99 for each leg of the flight, and the remainder on seat selection. Honestly, I personally would be happy to do this again despite the delays.
So there we are, 24 hours in Brussels flying on Ryanair. So, what do you think? I'm actually going to leave it up to you to decide if you think the price is worth it. So, put down in the comments what you think. And as always, if you like this video, please consider subscribing. And as always, people, we'll see you in the next one.